Hey everyone, this is Joseph the Eraser coming in with another deck profile. Today we'll be taking on the pure Zefra deck. Now, mainly this deck, I only have this for fun. I don't want to put this card as competitive because I wanted to make it as pure Zefra as can be with all the archetypes that appear in the dual terminal of their history. Because I really like this deck. I have some wins with this deck. I'm playing for fun with my friends, but I really don't bother making this as a competitive deck. But if you have any ideas of how I can make it as pure Zefra style for this deck, you can leave your suggestions in the comment section down below. So, without further ado, let's move in to the Zefra. Alright, for the monsters, I run one copy of Zefra Saver, Swordmaster of the Necros, and one Zefrax Flame Beast of the Necros. Basically, I mainly use his Pendulum as monster effect because it's basically for ritual summon, but he's also targeted for Zefra for scale 1 purposes, or he can be used for any materials for synchro summoning. But him, in this case, I like his effect good because while this card is in your hand or graveyard, if a Necros or Zefra card, except himself, is destroyed by battle or by card effect while in a monster zone or pendulum zone, you can special summon this card. So you will get him on the field for any synchro summoning or basically for attack. Next, for the Yangzing archetype, I run 3 copies of Zefraxi, Treasure of the Yangzing, and Zefraniu, Secret of the Yangzing. Basically, Zefraxi's concentration is basically when this card is pendulum summon or special summon from the main deck, you could target one Yangzing or Zefra monster you control except himself, and that monster becomes a tuner. And basically, this card returns to the bottom of the deck when he uses this effect. In this case, for him, basically he's the main searcher of the deck. It searches out your Zefra Providence, Zefra Wars, you name it, and even the field spells. But I really like these cards. Many people run these cards at 3 as mandatory for the competitive style, but I like how it goes. Now for the Ritual Beast archetype, I run 2 copies of Ritual Beast Tamer Zefra Umbilica and 2 copies of Ritual Beast Tamer Zefra Wendy. Basically, these 2 are much more put in the pendulum zone, but their effects are good. Zefra Umbilica's effect is basically when this card is normal or pendulum summon, you can target one Ritual Beast or Zefra monster in your graveyard, except herself, special summon it, but destroy it during the end phase. And then for Zefra Wendy, basically, when this card is normal pendulum summon, you can add a face-up Zefra monster in your extra deck to your hand. So basically, she brings your Zefras from the graveyard, and she adds your Zefra from your extra deck. For the Satellar Knight monsters, I run 1 copy of Satellar Knight Zefra Tumbin and 1 Satellar Knight Zefraxiton. So basically, these 2 are basically for the back row purposes. He concentrate on, well, not back row purposes, but basically, this guy's effect is basically to destroy face-up cards on the field, and this card concentrate on set cards on the field. For the next Zefra monsters, I run 1 copy of Shadow Zefra Naga and Shadow Zefra Core. Mainly, I don't use them that much, but I basically use them for targets for Zefra for their scales, or maybe for adding them and needing them for synchro summoning or you name it. The next Zefra is basically the boss monster of the deck. Is 3 copies of Zefra. Zefra is very good in good aspects, but it's a shame that his monster effect cannot be used in the link format, because in order for him to summon, you basically need to tribute all your monsters, including 3 Zefras, to summon him and then to pendulum summon again. You can mainly use this card basically if you don't want to play the link format, just play for fun or that, but many people won't oblige to that. But his pendulum effect, on the other hand, is very good. Basically, during the main phase, you can add a Zefra pendulum monster from your deck to your extra deck face up. And if you do, change this card pendulum skill to the same as the pendulum monster until the end of the turn. So basically, you put him in the zone, use his effect, and all that. Now, for the non-Zefras, I run 3 copies of Performapal Audi Synchron. Basically, I use him for synchro summoning. Basically, I summon him, and I go for synchro summon for any monster that I need for my synchro summoning with the 2 stars. And for the last monster, I run Tierra, Source of Destruction. Basically, this card is your reset card of the deck. Basically, fulfill her requirements. Basically, return 10 cards with different names from the hand, field, or face up in the extra deck to the main deck. And when this card summoned, return all cards from the hand, field, graveyard. And let me see if it's from the extra deck too. Shuffle all cards into the deck. Okay. From each player's hand, field, face up pendulum monster from the extra deck. Neither player can activate cards or effects in response to this card. So basically, I use this card basically when I need to to finish the duel quickly. So I use her. So that's it for the monsters. On for the spell. Now for the spells, I run 3 copies of Oracle of Zefra. Basically, when this card is activated, you can search for you can add a Zefra monster from your deck to your hand. And the other effect is basically depending on the archetype you summon to the field, it gains its effects. If it's ritual summon, shuffle 1 monster on the field into the deck. Fusion summon, special summon 1 monster from your hand. Synchro summon, choose 1 monster from your deck and place it on top of your deck. And Xyz summon, draw 1 card and discard 1 card. Basically, I use when I get this card in the field, I use the synchro summon effect. Because basically, the majority of the monsters I have in my extra deck are synchro monsters, and I use this card basically to search the cards I need and place it on top of the extra deck. So when I get into my draw phase, I get the cards I need. Next, I run 3 Zefra Provident. This card basically is a searcher as well. Add 1 Zefra card from your deck to your hand. However, this card also is good if this card is in the graveyard. If a Zefra card or cards you control will be destroyed, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can ban this card from the graveyard instead. So basically, it protects your monsters. I run 1 Dark Hole to basically wipe all monsters on the field. I can protect it with Zefra Providence. I run 1 Lightning Vortex to discard 1 card, destroy all monsters of the opponent. And I run 2 MST to destroy back row. For the traps, I run 2 of the Zefra Divine Strike. Basically, when a spell, trap, or monster effect is activated, banish 1 face-up Zefra monster from your extra deck, negate the activation if you do destroy it. So basically, I use this card basically to use it with, for example, I want to banish my Zefra Naga, Zefra Core, Zefra Saber, cards that I really don't need to use their effects. For example, I can banish them and use this card in its entirety. I run 2 of the Zefra War. Basically, target 1 other Zefra card you control and 1 card on your opponent control. Destroy them. Basically, you can use this effect and basically to protect. The other is if you have 2 Zefra cards in your pendulum zone, you can activate this card from the hand. So basically, very good. And the final trap cards I run is 3 of the 9 Pillar of the Yang Zing. When a spell, trap, or monster effect is activated and you control a Yang Zing card, negate the activation. If you do, shuffle that card into the deck, then destroy 1 other Yang Zing card you control. So basically, it's basically the opposite of Zefra Divine Strike, but it concentrates that you have a Yang Zing in order for this to work. Well, that is from the main deck onto the extra deck. Okay, for the extra deck, I run 1 copy of XL Synchron. Basically, this card helps you go into your big synchro plays that you needed. You could send even your Audi Synchrons to the graveyard, so you can reduce 2 levels or gain 2 levels. So basically, I summon this card by basically using Audi Synchron in level 3 monster like Zefra Pelica. But this card is very good for helping you to go into big plays. I run one copy of Stardust Charge Warrior. Basically, he's basically helps you for your draw power, draw one card, and destroy. It helps you attack all special summon monsters your opponent controls, one each. So help you to clear the board. I run one Metaphys Horus. Metaphys Horus is very good because when I use his third effect, basically if the other material is basically a pendulum monster, your opponent chooses one monster they control and give it to you permanently, but it cannot attack this turn. So basically you can use them for link materials or basically to hit them hard against your opponent. I run one Ancient Fairy Dragon. Ancient Fairy Dragon basically once per turn, special summon level 4 or lower monsters from your hand. You cannot conduct your battle phase. The turn you activate this card effect. Once per turn, you can destroy one field spell card, and if you do, gain 1,000 life points. And you can add one field spell card from your deck to your hand. So basically, gives you life points and searches out your field spell. I run one Sideframe Lord Zeta, and now let me give you this clear. I don't run Omega because, well, he's very expensive, so he's the close bet I can get. So basically, understand the reason. Basically, like I said, this is not competitive. This is a deck for fun. Just to be clear. So, back to where we're saying. Yes, yeah. Sideframe Lord Zeta. Basically, its effect once per turn during either player's turn, you could target one special summon monster your opponent controls in face-up attack position, manage both that monster and this card from the field, but return them to the next standby phase. If this basically you're mainly using him to banish one of your opponent monsters so you can go for game. His other effect is basically for side frames. The next card I run is one Yashi Evil the Yangzing. Basically, I use this card for various uses. One of his effects are you could target one Yangzing monster you control and one card your opponent controls, destroy them. His other effect is when this card you control is destroyed by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon one worm monster from your deck in defense position. So he's very good and cannot be targeted by your opponent's card effect, so he's safe for now. The next card I run is one Stardust Dragon. Stardust Dragon basically is to prevent your opponent from using card effects that will destroy a card on the field. Tribute Stardust Dragon, negate the activity to destroy it, and he returns back. The other card I run is one Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend. First time ever I get this card, and I got it cheap from one of my friends. So basically this card is named Red Dragon Archfiend. His other effect is once per turn, destroy as many special summon effect monsters on the field as possible with attack less than or equal to this card. Then inflict 500 damage to your opponent for each. So basically, summon him, get damage. I run one Cloud Castle. Basically, as long as I have him on the field, level 8 or lower monster cannot attack the turn they were normal or special summon. So it's basically for a wall. I run the one Leo, Keeper of the Sacred Tree. Basically, Leo. Basically, you summon him. Your opponent cannot do anything about it. The only thing they can do against him is basically on the main phase 2. Well, that is for the synchro monsters. Onto the link ones. Now, for the link monsters, I run 2 copies of Underlock Taker. Basically, I don't care much of this effect. I basically need 2 effect monsters. That's my Zefras. Get them on the field. And for the reason I run only this 2 is because I run the second boss monster, Zefra Metaltron. Zefra Metaltron is basically your helper bringing your big monster to the field. As long as you keep him alive, he can be protected by Zefra Providence. He can be protected by any of the cards you have of what I mentioned. And bring on your big monsters. Get your synchro summons, get your pendulum summons, you name it. Well, that is basically it for the deck, for the extra deck. So that basically it for the pure Zefra deck profile. And one of the last deck profiles I have, because this is the last deck I get. But I have an announcement to make. I will soon be doing friend deck profiles in my channel. So I will be profiling decks from friends that I have, that I know who has decks and all. And they can review what they have. You can give your suggestions and opinions, or even try it out for yourselves. The other thing is, I will also try to attempt making dual videos so you can see how my decks work against my friends, so you can see that. So basically, I will try to attempt that. I'll try to figure out which friends I can try to review so you can see them. So anyway, if you like this video, let's give it a big thumbs up. So let's thumbs it up or something like that. You can also see my deck profile playlist. I will leave a link to this description down below, so you can check that out. You can also, if you want to catch up with the latest on my future videos that I make, just erase that subscribe button so you can catch up with the latest. And there's nothing left but to say, so this is the pure Zefra deck profile. And remember, don't let your dreams be dreams, and let your dreams be a reality. See you guys then.